What's up, you guys? It is your girl Bob Jalam. Welcome back to my channel where I talk all things basketball. I'm chilling with my homie Spalding today, as you can see. Quick thing. So I have started to kind of analyze my channel so far through the basketball season, and I think that I'm going to try out doing recaps every 2 weeks instead of every week. At first I thought the idea of doing every week would be like, you know, more fun, more interactive, but sometimes basketball has slow news weeks. So I am gonna start doing recaps every 2 weeks and try that out and see if you guys like that format more. I think in this case, that'll give me more material to have to talk about. Anyways, time to get into the juicy stuff. All right, y'all, one of the best PGs in the league right now, one of the best point guards in the league right now, Damian Lillard, put up 61 points. 61 points. That is amazing. I'm so happy for him that he has broken this record and he's created this record. I think this is also a franchise record for the Portland Trail Blazers. So shout out to him. He actually has 3 of the top scoring records for the Trailblazers. I think the person in 4th place is Damon Stoudemire from 05. So yeah, Damian Lillard has been doing his thing. I do want to get into some things about the Trailblazers, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. I just want to salute the freaking OKC Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies because they have been holding down the Western Conference very comfortably. They're holding down 7th and 8th seed, and they've been sitting there for about a week now, week and a half, something like that. They've definitely been showing out, doing their thing. People really thought OKC was gonna go into rebuild mode. The news just came out yesterday that Chris Paul said he is not opting out of his $44 million contract to try to go build a super team with somebody. I think he's all super teamed out. He's over it, or maybe he's not, but he's like, I'm gonna get my money first. I'm sure a lot of the OKC fans are probably like, it's over with, it's no point, you know what I mean? Like, we're probably gonna go into rebuild mode, we're probably gonna be sucky. They probably thought they were gonna be like us. But you have to think about last year with the Clippers, who took the Warriors to 6 games. Their point guard was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they also had Danilo Gallinari. So for them to then come over to OKC, it wasn't that realistic to expect that they just would plummet. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody thought they wouldn't be as good as when they had Paul George and Russell Westbrook. But at the same time, it's like you would at least expect them to be decent. So it's great to see. I think it's great for that franchise and that fan base. And I'm happy that they're winning. I think it shakes up the conference a lot. It makes people pay attention to them, and now you're wondering, okay, well, how far will they go? How deep will they go into the playoffs? You know, 2nd round, possibly 3rd round. Shout out to OKC and to the Grizzlies. I'm not gonna say I think the Grizzlies are gonna go into the 3rd round. Against playoff teams so far throughout the season, they are 5-14. So I'm not gonna give them that edge of going into the 3rd round unless the team that they get matched up with is just really to their advantage. While OKC and Memphis is holding down the bottom of the Western Conference, interestingly enough, so many teams are not far behind them. The Suns are not far behind. Pelicans aren't far behind. Kings aren't far behind. And of course, the Spurs aren't, Spurs, you're not going to get them up out of the playoffs. You got to really fight to keep them out of the playoffs. And who knows, they're probably going to make it again this season as well. So while we are talking about the Western Conference and the Trailblazers and things of that nature, there's a few teams that I've been wondering if they should blow it up. Okay, seriously though. Minnesota Timberwolves. I know they are aggressively trying to land D'Angelo Russell, which I think would be great for their offense. They made the playoffs a couple of years ago when they had Jimmy Butler, but they barely made the 8th seed, and they had a gentleman's sweep, I believe, and they didn't make it last season. So far against playoff teams this year, so far they've only made, I think their record is 2-14 against playoff teams. So there's no hope for them there. In my opinion, I definitely think if nothing happens for them in the trade deadline this season, I think they need to go ahead and see about blowing it up next season, getting rid of Towns or Wiggins or both. I think Rocco is a great trade asset if they did want to try to land D'Angelo Russell. Rocco is like a great shooter, one of those 3-and-D guys, really good on defense. I love when he was with Philly. That's like really when I became a fan of him, when he was with Philly. I think Timberwolves, they need to do something different. They need to change it up. They need to move a piece. I know that Wiggins and Cat are their guys, and they, you know, they want to try to stick with them and make something come from it. And Wiggins he seemed to be doing really good at the beginning of the season. So in my opinion, Minnesota is one of those teams that need to see about blowing it up. Portland Trailblazers. Portland to me took a step back from last season because they made it to the WCF against the Warriors and then they were swept. It's great that they made it to the WCF, but the issue is that after they lost, they kind of gave up a lot of good players that helped them get to that point. A lot of good defensive guys and a lot of good scoring guys like Mo Harkless, Al-Farouq Aminu, Myers Leonard, missing somebody else. But they got rid of a lot of good people that contributed to their success last season. Cancer, I know Nurkic is out for the rest of the season and he's a big part of their defensive game. I know they don't really they have Whiteside right now. They're trying to make things work with Carmelo. But say Nurkic comes back next season and it's still kind of like the same thing for them. I think at that point, it will be time for them to blow it up. Maybe get rid of Dame or CJ or both. And it's not to say they're not great players. They're both really good players, especially Damian Lillard. Like, he's amazing. But I think either that system or that lineup is just not working for them. They've made it to the first round or the second round, and they get knocked out. And they finally make it to the third round last year, and then they get swept. So it's like, granted, they were dealing with injuries because Nurkic was out and Cancer, he was really beat up by the third playoff series. He was like really beat up. So I understand, but it's also like you guys got rid of a lot of people that would have contributed to your success. I think Portland may have to consider blowing things up by the end of this season or next season. Kings really made strides last year. They were close to making it into the playoffs. I think they were like 7 games out by the end of the season, but they really improved in comparison to past seasons. And to see them now, it's a little confusing. They're in the 14th place in the West. I mean, that's only about 14th place in the West is only 5 games out from the playoffs, but it doesn't seem like they are improving. Against playoff teams, they are 6-14 so far. Kings have the potential and they have some of the pieces, but they don't have all of the pieces, if that makes sense. Harrison Barnes is cool. Buddy Hield is great. Bogdanovic is amazing. Nemanja Bjelica, De'Aaron Fox, like all of these people are great players. Marvin Bagley III, great players. But it's not enough to take them over the top. I actually feel like their playing has regressed from last year when they had Dave Yeager as their coach, as opposed to having Luke Walton now. Not to knock against Luke Walton, he might just be learning, trying out new lineups, trying to figure out how to make it work. It seems like they've regressed a bit. Like last year, they were like kind of neck and neck, trying to stay on par with like 9th, 8th, 10th seed. They were kind of in that playoff hunt, but now it just seems like they're not catching a break really. It's kind of like a seesaw for them, and they're just staying in the bottom of the Western Conference. So I think that's another team that may have to blow it up. Come the end of this season, I'm all for it. I know they would probably hold on to Buddy and De'Aaron and Marvin because those are some very valuable players. Marvin was just their rookie last year, so I get it. But at the same time, something has to change. Something has to give if they want to start making it actually into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was this close last year, and it looks like this year, I don't even know if they're going to make it unless they trade for someone. And I know they said they were considering putting Bogdan on the market, which he's great for their team, so it would suck if they gave him away. But I understand, though. It's like you have to take some kind of a risk in order to improve your team. Kind of like last year with the Raptors, how they got rid of like some great players, DeRozan and Valanciunas. But then you look at what they got back, Kawhi and Marc Gasol, and then you're like, I understand. So maybe Kings and the Wolves and Trailblazers can make moves like that, take some risks, and see if they make a run, a deep run into the playoffs. All right, guys, this is another thing I want to talk about considering the game where the Celtics played against the Lakers on Monday. Do the Celtics need another center, or is the 1-2 punch of Cantor and Daniel Tice sufficient? On paper, you would think, well, no, you're gonna need more than them, or you're gonna need somebody different in order to get you over the hump. They really dominated against the Lakers. Now, the Lakers, who knows? They could have been tired. I know AD is coming back from injury, so maybe he wasn't 100%. Also, Kuzma, maybe he wasn't 100%. But they really dominated. They was defending their butts off during the game. Initially, I was like, you know, Celtics may need another center if they want to make it deep into the playoffs, especially if you're going to go up against the 76ers with Embiid. In my head, I was like, well, they're going to need another center. But seeing how they played and they defended it against the length and the size of the Lakers, I'm wondering now, you know, should I just keep my mouth closed and just eat my food?
You should have just sat there and ate your food.
So against playoff teams, Celtics are 8-8, so they're right at 500, which is great. But that makes me think, okay, maybe they do need to pick up one more defensive player. I think they have offense down with Tatum and Brown, Smart, Kemba. Like, they have offense down. Even Tice, he got in on the 3-point play on Monday, and that just shocked me. I'm like, what? Tice is shooting threes? Like, that's how you know the game was kind of over with. I think they may need one more defensive piece, but I feel like the Celtics are good to go. They're going to be fun to watch when the playoffs come. All right, y'all, so I got some good news for you Hawks fans. So Steven Adams is on the way. Or is he? We need to find a good defensive piece. Collins is great, but he cannot get the job done by himself. We need a center, please. I know we can't get Drummond anymore. Those talks are over with. Steven Adams. Let's get it. Like, we need something to seriously get us at least on the playoff hunt. Even if we don't make it into the 8th seed, if we can at least get close. Right now, we're 9 games behind the 8th seed. So it's nothing to go on a couple runs, maybe a 5-game win streak a few times just to get back into that hunt. You get what I mean? I seriously feel like Hawks need to be aggressive in landing someone here that can help us get into the playoffs. Atlanta, do something. I just want to shout out the most recent Eastern Conference Player of the Week, my guy, Mr. Ben Simmons. I know y'all love to talk about him and his jumper and his lack of 3-point shooting. 34-point triple-double. I mean, what more do you want from this guy? He's doing what he needs to do. He's helping his team succeed while Joel is out with his hand injury. Like, what more do you want for him? He's continuing to be productive in Joel's absence. And even during the season, he's been productive. I think he's been averaging somewhere around 19, 20 points. I have no complaints for Ben. I'm not one of those people who really rush people to develop. Yes, you want to see them do great, especially when they're like the number 1 and the number 2 draft picks. There's so much talent in the NBA and people develop at different points. So I'm not really tripping. I already feel like he's a great player and he can only get better. So that's my stance on it. Shout out Ben Simmons. All right, guys, so now it's time for me to show y'all my favorite dunk, assist, and play of the last couple weeks.
Andre gets a steal ahead of Derrick Rose. Lobs it. Beautiful. Off the glass and a stuff. A sensational play.
Clarkson, they go pick and roll. Back out, Royce O'Neal. Donovan over the top, tough catch. Conley back to Royce on a dribble drive. How about that passing? 3 is up.
Cavaliers are going to have to foul if they don't get a steal. They don't want to foul the beam. They stuck in there and scored. Zach, he tricked him.
Leonard, an aggressive drive. Oh my! Look out below!
Protecting the screen right there. 2 dribbles and dunks on 2 people. Wow, what a play.
see if this happens now. Crowder, lob, yeah! Oh, baby!
It's going with his starting unit.
This is how you attack a shot blocker. Hello, welcome back.
I'm not gonna hold y'all, that Jaylen Brown dunk really made me like jump up when I seen it. Like I was like, whoa, what was that? Like it was so unexpected how he did it, how he went up. Great play. Anyways, guys, thank y'all for checking out my recap, tuning in as usual. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video.